Hello and welcome to another episode of the Obstacle Race Magazine podcast. I am here with Kevin Newey as usual. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Carl.
How you been?
Been good.
Good.
How have you been, birthday boy?
I've had a good weekend. Lots of well wishes from people, so it's been
Lots of cake.
No. Heather made me a nice banana bread, which is my version of birthday cake. So I don't really like sweet stuff. No candles. I spent most of my birthday cutting up material for face masks for hospital, because so my mum's been making face masks for hospital and doing them for free. Yes, Mama Wibbly. She's been doing them for free for taking like donations and stuff like that for charity, but herself she's been doing it for no profit basically, and she's been putting them together and doing them as well as working full time as like whatever MD of this company. She's also been doing these masks as well every night when she's been getting home. All weekend she's been just like squirreling away. She must have made hundreds and hundreds of masks now. And then she found out through someone the other day that the hospital, pardon?
They're no good.
That they were no good. Oh, don't say that. They found out over the weekend that hospital staff now have to wear a mask from the car to the hospital until they get onto the ward itself. They've now been advised that that's what they need to do, but they can't use the hospital's own masks, the normal ones that they'd wear on wards, because obviously they're in quite short supply. So they've been having to source their own. So she had an order through for like 150 masks or 170 masks. So this weekend she was like rushing to try and put these masks together for
She's
people.
doing them all for free?
Yeah. Some of these
are
doing
T-shirts.
They've been doing. She's been taking donations and things like that, but it's all it's as far as like material wise and whatever. She's been paying for it all out of her own pocket. Some people have donated stuff, like donated bits and pieces, and a few have obviously put into this charity fund. I think the ones who've actually paid for the masks, they've raised like £1,300 now for charity just through that. But yeah, she's just been doing them off her own back. She does enjoy sewing, so it's like it gives her an excuse to like buy another sewing machine and blah de blah and get away with it, and having to buy all this new bits and pieces.
Well done to Mama Wibbly for giving Carl a birthday he'll never forget.
That's it. So, and it was quite tedious as well, cutting up fabric in 6x9 inch squares and trying to get them perfectly straight so she doesn't tell me off.
It's all for the greater good. It
is. It's nice way to spend some of your birthday. But yeah, so, I forgot. I've not asked you the big question yet, Kevin. What episode are we on?
27.
No, we're not on 27. What episode are we on?
28.
We're on 28. Did you really think it was 27?
I did think it was 27.
Oh, you tripped over yourself there, Kevin.
Oh, have I? Or is this a double bluff?
No, it's not a double bluff. I promise it's not a double bluff. It is 28.
Okay. I stand corrected.
I promise. But yeah, so that's how I spent my birthday anyway. And then when sunshine came out, I'll not lie, I started playing with bike again for a little bit. Spraying bike, which is, I know how exciting you find that, Kevin, don't you? So I thought I'd fill you in there. But so, OCR news. We've got little bits and pieces of news to actually report on from the world of OCR this week, haven't we?
We have.
We have. So, in terms of races, there are actually some races that have gone ahead this weekend. We've got sort of 3 and 4 in the US, 1 in Denmark, I think 1 in Czech Republic, 1 in Hungary. I think the main one that was sort of the standout one of them all was one in a Spartan race in Jacksonville, and it was sort of a full-on race. So they had like I think they had an endurance or extreme version of the race, so whatever, hurricane heat or what have you. They had the normal distances that they'd put on. It was also I think it was the inaugural event, the one for DecaFit as well, the one that was meant to launch DecaFit. So they had that running as well. So that's like the little, although it's not CrossFit, it's a CrossFit style event. Yeah.
Just interesting to watch, wasn't it? It was good to see stuff on Facebook and social media of start lines. Obviously, it looks a little bit different, but that's the way it has to be. That's the way it has to be, doesn't it? For now.
Yeah.
There's no reason why events in the UK, I don't think, can continue now. I think there's as long as they're putting sort of hand stations in place for forgot the word. Sanitising stations, that's it.
Yeah,
stations. As long as they're in place, sort of around the registration area, when you're out on the course, if you think of the amount of crap and mud that's on your hands, you're not going to be putting them anywhere near your face anyway, are you?
It's just it's the contact points, isn't it? And it's the social distancing. So I don't think the obstacles are much, like you say, you're coated in mud when you get to obstacles, so you shouldn't be hand to mouth in any way.
But even then, you've got those dirty hands on an obstacle. Are you really transferring anything onto that obstacle? No. Or somebody behind, it's so...
It's more registration, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's those contact points.
So have a hand sanitisation point on the way in and on the way out of registration.
Yeah.
Self-distancing at the start line. Let fewer people in the waves, but maybe going off more often.
Well, I've got stats for that. So Garfield was kind enough to share the stats of what they did through. So they paid a fortune for advisors and whatever to come on board to see how they could make the event run. So this event, taking into consideration, they usually have about 4,000 people at this event, at this specific location. They actually capped it at 1,500 for this event, and I think that was spread across all the different styles and things. They did 25 people every 5 minutes. So it were basically 2 lanes, so 2 people stood on the start line, and then behind them, 2 meters behind them, another 2 people, and blah blah blah, and that went back for 25 people altogether worth deep, and they went off every 5 minutes. Say that meant they were letting off about 300 people per hour. They were averaging apparently. But normally, with the mass waves, they'd be doing 1,200 people an hour. So it's kind of...
I think self-distancing, it's still 2 metres, I think, in the US, isn't it? I think they've still got the same distance as us. So once that goes
it's all
down
guidelines.
To 1.5, when that goes down to 1.5 metres or 1 metre, theoretically, then you can have double the amount of people in a heat.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever... In terms of guidelines, I don't think it's ever going to be dropped until it's eradicated. I can't see it happening, because I know people are trying to fight for it at the moment because of venues, like pub venues, are trying to push for it.
Yeah, they need it for the economy.
Yeah, the rate of infection goes up so dramatically when you start dropping below 2 meters that it's not really very sensible unless it's back to back. In pub venues, what they have said is, if they sat people, say you sat a table of 2 people facing each other, but then the table would be directly behind them, so the person sitting across from you would have their back to the other table, because then you can drop it down to like a meter. It doesn't have to be that 2 meter. But the trouble with that is, you really... Can you sit and eat a meal without looking behind you, or it opens up a lot of weird stuff? Like you'd need screens, like how they show in the visual representations of how gyms might look, where they've got the screens in between the treadmills and stuff like that. Is a pub going to be somewhere you really want to go? Because a pub's it's going out to a pub for something to eat. It's no longer like a necessity. It's more like it's a nicety, isn't it? It's just
it's
something
social
nice
gathering,
to
isn't
do.
it? It's in friends and family, and
I guess, but you can't have...
Because we're not pub goers, are we? So it's different. I go to the pub once a week to play in the local pool league.
And I go once a year
to play me at pool.
Yeah, and that's about it. That's literally my time spent in the.
Yeah, so it's different for us but for a lot of people that's their sort of life, isn't it? Going down there, socialising every single night.
I don't know how it's going to work though. I can't see how that's going to work for a while.
Only when it's outdoors, and the restrictions aren't as bad. And I think Wetherspoons have done a model of how it will look in their sites with sort of front doors and back doors open, so people aren't touching handles and ordering from apps, so it gets delivered direct to your table rather than going and standing and waiting at a bar. Yeah.
Which they've already got. Wetherspoons, they've already got that in place anyway, haven't they? The trouble is, it alienates the people who can you imagine 260, 70, whatever year olds going in for their tea and toast or whatever that they go in for. And they're what's the likelihood of them having a smartphone for them to be able to actually...
That's what Mum does.
Place that order though. But do you know what I mean?
She's got a phone, but she wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah, it just alienates a few people.
A drive-through because he's too scared. He hasn't done it yet, so he's not going to be doing that.
Yeah, well, I don't like going through drive-throughs, but that's because my driver's electric window don't work every now and then. It just has a day off, and I just never know when it's going to take that day off. But so
I mean, I think it's all positive.
Definitely.
With Mud 7, we're looking at we're over 3 months away still. Things are going to keep getting relaxed. I'm getting more and more confident every day, every week that goes by, that we're going to be able to put an event on for you.
Yeah, but I think to be able to see that one, to be able to see Garfield and sort of share that Jacksonville footage and what have you, which we shared onto the ORM main Facebook page, it was just interesting to see it and like how they'd marked it out on the floor, so they had a specific space where they were going to stand and whatever. And because it's chip timed, it can still be competitive. There's nothing stopping it being competitive, because obviously your time starts when you cross the line anyway, doesn't it? So some people need, because we say this all the time, I'm not competitive, so it doesn't really bother me either way, but some people need someone with them, like pushing them, don't they, to be able to get someone hot on their heels to make them perform. So they're obviously going to lose out a little bit. But saying that, there's still going to be, so if it's 25 people every 5 minutes, there's still going to be a bunch of 25 people there or thereabouts around each other on the course anyway, aren't there? So there's going to be a few people to push you. There's nothing.
And you wouldn't have more than that usually anyway. Sort of battling in a race, you only get sort of the top 4, 5, 6. You wouldn't usually have up to 25 anyway. So.
Well, it's a killer anyway, isn't it, if you get too many people on course at the same time. We've had big groups, haven't we, before at Mud 7, and it's a nightmare if they try and stick too close together, because obviously there's just no throughput on obstacles. It makes it a bit of a... it can end up a pinch point, can't it, on anything.
It's a good test for Spartan, and that will give them some peace of mind for transferring that over to the UK and other countries as well.
Yeah, definitely.
How to get it done.
We can see what they're doing and learn from it. It's more about now the restrictions that your own country are putting into place, isn't it? Like, I'm assuming Denmark, Czech Republic and Hungary of each must have really relaxed their, like, in terms of social gatherings and whatever, their restrictions on that. Same as the US, obviously Trump pulled it back as soon as he possibly could anyway, didn't he, in certain states. So yeah, no,
it's all down to how the numbers keep tumbling, and today we've had sort of another record low. I know 32 people dying is still tragic and very sad, and it's a low number because they don't usually count as many on a Monday, do you? Because you get a lag from over the weekend. So all you can do is compare it to last Monday though.
Yeah,
and I think last Monday was 111, I think, something like that. So.
And this is people dying with, not of, as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and those 32 didn't die over the weekend. They're ones that have been reported today, so they could have be collated from the last few weeks. And those were grouped together and announced.
Because, like you say, obviously every single person who their life maybe ends sooner than it should have done because of this is obviously awful, and it's sad for every single person that's around them and that's lost them as a loved one. But at the same time, in terms of like black and white, the figures are people who are dying with it, so who've sort of tested positive for it, rather than specifically dying from it, that they've gone into like intensive care and obviously gone onto a ventilator and not been able to pull through. So it is interesting to see. It's sort of, you've always got to keep that, but at the same time, I actually wholeheartedly agree with them using those figures, because hopefully it'll, even if it keeps one more muppet inside not doing something stupid that they shouldn't be doing, then it's a win, isn't it, at the end of the day. Especially, I know now we've got a hell of a lot more it's sort of a hell of a lot more easygoing now, isn't it? You can kind of come and go as you please as long as you're social distancing. But before, there were still people going out and doing stupid things, and you're thinking, why are you doing that?
6,000 people at a rave in Manchester at the weekend.
It's just...
There's plenty of footage of people coming, because I think it got shut down by the police. It should all be done. It's just absolutely mad.
It don't make sense, does it?
You wouldn't think COVID is still a thing anymore, looking in the media. And I know there's been bigger things in the news over the last couple of weeks, but it's just it seems like a footnote now. You don't see any stories about ventilators or seeing people who have been struck down with it and tubes up the nose and how they're sort of struggling and coping. You don't seem to see those stories as much anymore. Are they still around? You just don't know, do you? Because it's just not covered.
I think they just don't sell. It's all about traffic through websites and people buying papers into it end of the day.
Yeah.
And also if there's, it's a bit on the edge, this one, but it's also for political gain as well, isn't it? You can see through a lot of the stuff that's reported, and it sort of errs on the side of maybe having more political use than actual useful information for the masses.
Again, because it drives traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, so no, that's massively, massively positive. And like for you, it kind of gives you a bit more, you can actually go to sleep at night with more chance of things actually proceeding so that Mud 7 can go ahead and whatever. And for everyone else, it means that we can all hopefully look forward to racing really soon. But I've not been able to see much about how Decafit went, because I don't actually know anyone, or no one's sort of popped up on my timeline who's taken part in it. So I don't even know if that was... I'm assuming it was successful, else, because when something's not successful, everyone shouts and screams about it, don't they? So I'm assuming it went smoothly, although I'm also assuming it wasn't how Joe probably ever envisaged it happening.
Again, it's probably a good test, wasn't it? Because you got fewer people doing it.
I get.
It's probably good. Like, you know that this is the most extreme way you're ever going to run it. It's only going to become more efficient.
Like a soft opening, I guess, isn't it? Yeah, so it may have been a good thing, a blessing in disguise, maybe. But yeah, that's. I think that's it. That's all I've got in terms of news. Have you got anything, Kevin? Anything that?
Well, so the big event that was cancelled today was the Great North Run, which was scheduled for the 11th and 12th of September.
Yeah.
So it means there's going to be a lot of people looking for an event to do that weekend. Obviously, it's very different to OCR. You've got tens of thousands of people all cramped up together at the start line. It's very different to the sort of experience that we're going to be offering. So I bet there's a lot of people in the OCR community that were booked on for that.
Yeah, so it's a shame, because obviously that's another key one for charities, isn't it?
After the London Marathon, it's probably the second biggest now, isn't it?
It's got to be, hasn't it? It's massive. It's absolutely enormous, and it obviously caters for people up the other end of the country as well. So the ones who don't want to travel, it's a great catchment.
And people who can't. The marathon's just out of their reach as well. Marathon
distance. Yeah. So it's sad in terms of like charities, because they're crying out for help at the moment, aren't they? In terms of needing people to donate and fundraise and.
I mean, what I've really been pushing on social media is the free entries for Mud 7. If you run for charity, if you can raise £100 for one of our charity partners, you get free entry if you're running their team. So that's what I've been pushing. I've been pushing for sort of ticket sales, because we've really got to help these charities. So we raised over 75,000 last year for them through Mud 7. This year we targeted 100. It's going to be harder to hit now, because people are worried and they might not want to come onto the course at the end of September. So urge you, if you haven't signed up to Mud 7, get a free ticket, go to the website, run for charity page on there, then choose 16 different charities you can pick from. Just raise £100 and then you get your free entry. done.
Yeah, so it's just 10 mates, isn't it? Basically, 10 mates, stick a tenner in a pot for you, and that's your sort of your fundraising done and your ticket sort of paid for you anyway.
And then speak to them 10 mates and get them to sign up with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Get 10 mates each to donate tenner.
Well, that's how it turns into a whole hell lot of good, doesn't it? Then when that starts happening. But yeah, so if you've not signed up for Mud 7 yet, it is just the website for more information is simply mud7.com. It's plain and simple, mud7.com.
And that shows. I looked through some of my old emails the other day, and there was one from a race director who said that we were greedy. Do you remember that email? The greedy ORM boys. I think this again shows that we're not greedy. We're all about the community, charity, raising money, and having a sustainable business as well. But
yeah,
we're not greedy.
That's been even sustainable business has been put on the back burner, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of.
And again, I think that proves the point.
Yeah.
Again, any small business is struggling at the moment, and I'm telling people out there to go and put the money into a charity rather than give it to us. What am I saying, Carl?
Well, because I think it's probably along the lines of suckers for punishment, isn't it, rather than anything else. But anyway, we know we're doing right.
Yeah.
So
karma.
That's all that matters.
I know we say it every week, but karma.
That's it. So have you had
any voice messages in this week? Any questions?
We have, and this week it's a bit of a beauty as well. It's actually the one and only Cake King who we've been ribbing pretty much every single week. It is, honestly. This
is you putting his voice on?
No, he's got off the royal throne.
He hasn't got the minerals.
And
he's proved it week in, week out.
And put an audio message together. Are you ready? I'm going to play it. You ready?
This is you. I know it's going to be you.
No, I promise it's coming.
You've got mail.
Ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Carl, Kevin, Supreme Ultimate Cake King here. After your constant besmirchment of my good name, I've decided to placate you and ask you a question. But first, I've got an important statement to make. I've not been to McDonald's since the 20th of March. No way am I sitting in a drive-through queue. Anyway, back to the question. Right, here we go. What is your all-time favourite Finishers t-shirt? And now, you can't pick your own, or any other event or t-shirt you've made or helped or had anything to do with. Also, second question. What is your least favourite t-shirt? What is the one you've looked at and gone, oh God, what a complete waste of cloth? Anyway, hope that keeps you satisfied for a while. Cake King out.
Told you.
I can't believe that was the real Cake King.
It was the one and only
I feel so privileged
himself.
So you know anyone now?
Sorry,
go on. The amount Mr. Kipling's going to want to sponsor this podcast now, isn't it? The listening is going to go up. The figures are going to be booming.
Or Crispy Kreme, knowing that Cake King's involved, they'll want to sponsor him as well as us.
Yeah.
To keep his junk food diet right up there. But he does actually mention junk food because we do rib him because his main diet until this point has always been McDonald's, and lockdown has changed him. He's a changed man apparently. So
he must be having withdrawal symptoms now.
He probably did have shakes for a couple of days. But so anyone who doesn't know him, that's actually Paul Ellis, and he is one of the how can we describe him? It's like
OCR elite.
Yeah,
because there's not many people who can say I have won an OCR, is there? It's only a handful of people, and he's on that list.
Yeah.
If you've not listened to any of the previous podcasts, myself and Carl put an event on a few years ago called the Cakeathon. So we used to help put on an event called Muddy Furlong, and this one sort of followed on the same day afterwards. You have to run 500 metres, small OCR course, eat a cake, 5 laps, 5 cakes, and Mr. Ellis was the first one back with all 5 cakes down.
He found his calling in life, didn't he?
Yeah, none brought back up.
And probably still had seconds after as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Paul Ellis is part of the Mudcrow running group in the UK. They are they're another bunch that are sucker for punishment, aren't they?
Sons of Muddicky UK chapter.
That's the one. Yeah. So they're a lovely bunch. They're always very supportive of us, aren't they? At Mud 7, they've had. Was it last year or the year before? They had the biggest. Didn't they have the biggest wave?
Yeah, I think 2 years ago. Yeah, but it's a special occasion. It's their anniversary this year.
Yeah.
So I know they're trying to get a big team together, but again, everyone's just waiting. It's
a bit of an uphill struggle, isn't it, to try and get people to know that it's going to happen. Either way, even if it doesn't happen, like I know touch wood and blah blah blah, but even if it doesn't, it's not like we just say no, there's no race, that's it, game over. Because basically the race entry would just move over to whatever we have to move it to. But yeah, so Paul, lovely question. Finishers t-shirts.
Okay, we'll do favourite first, and then we'll both do least favourite.
I don't.
I
know.
I just you don't upset people.
I just don't think I've had a crap one. I don't think I've had a crap one.
So you wear every single one you've had. There must be one that's stuck at the bottom of your wardrobe which you never wear.
I don't wear every single. So my favourite finishers t-shirt. I've got two. Can I have two?
I know. No, you can only have one. But I know what you're going to say. I'll guess what yours is.
Go on then.
Reaper.
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I'm not really into. I like how we've gone this year with the design for the ORM race, like community t-shirts. I prefer that style a little bit more
sharp and simple.
Yeah, exactly. So my favourite ever race t-shirt, or the one I prized the most, was the Beast Finishers t-shirt. So for a Spartan race, although you do get unique ones now, back then, to get a unique t-shirt that was specific for that event was something quite unusual. And we raced it around Brands Hatch, and it was so back then the Spartan race t-shirts were the white ones with the helmet with the red.
Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah. One. So that was the original one. I think they must have ordered millions of them, basically, and they got given out at every race for the first probably 5-6 years of Spartan being in UK. And this one was a special one because obviously it were a premium priced event and blah blah. So that is one of my favourite. It had, very much like the Monster drink logo where it's got like the scratchers, the monster scratchers going down it. It had similar to that on it. So it were a really cool design. And this was before fully sublimated t-shirts and stuff like that opened up a whole new world of design. This was before that. So this were quite a lot of work what would have had to have gone into printing these t-shirts. So that is my most prized one. But my favourite ever t-shirt, best ever one that I enjoy wearing the most, has got to be the Spartan one from about 5 years ago. The one when they first started using the softer fabric. What's it called? I can't think of the name of the fabric. It's escaped me now. But so not the tech fabric for a change.
Like a casual t-shirt.
That's it. So it was one that you could actually wear out, and it was really light and airy as well. And I absolutely love those. So yeah, they're my favourites. What about you for favourites?
It's just going to not turn it into a Spartan fest. Okay, that's okay. My most prized is my first one, which was the white one you spoke about, which I got for the Spartan Sprint in Cambridge, which wasn't in Cambridge, was in Essex, Saffron Walden.
Was that where you were wearing your Nikes?
That was the day that I met you. 1st September 2014.
Etched in your brain forever.
And then when I did the Beast, I was gutted because I think that year, I think it was 2015, 2016, I think it was 2015 when I did Trifecta. But the Finishers t-shirt was the same. It was like a generic t-shirt for every race. So I just had like 3 Sprint, Super, and a Beast one, which were all just 5 of the same t-shirt. You got the Trifecta medal at the end.
Yeah.
But you didn't get. I never got a Beast t-shirt. I love all the Spartan ones because I like wearing them out because again it's not that tech sort of material.
I think they were one of the first ones to pick up on realising that it's actually an area that a lot of racers don't tap into in terms of social media gets tapped into in terms of free pictures on a Monday morning or whatever for you to share as your profile picture. But until then, like apart from word of mouth, there were no real way of advertising off the back of competitors, were there? And then when you give them a nice T-shirt that they can wear down pub or whatever, they've all of a sudden, they're walking billboards for them, aren't they?
So I think my most prized, I think I'll keep that as my favourite. So that Spartan one. And then my worst, probably the one that I wore the least, was a Rock Solid T-shirt that had, I think it was the first or second Rock Solid that I did. And to try and get probably get a best price on his T-shirts, he used to sell advertising on them, and he used to have these huge sponsorship things which just dwarfed the logo of Rock Solid, so it'd be like Yeo Valley and other things. So it wasn't something I really wore very much. Something good that they did do, I think, in that first year, if you raced the first and the second event, so the one in Easter and one in the autumn, they just sent through a T-shirt saying, like, well done, you did both events, and you got like a freebie T-shirt for the post, which was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then there was another one called Hero Run. Again, a lot of people wouldn't have heard of that or done that. But Hero Run, I think, had one event at Heart of England Conference Centre. I think I was about fifth in that. I know I did quite well. You did that as well, didn't you?
There were only 10 people took part, though, Kev.
There was more than that. And that wasn't an inspiring T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
When you've got that many, before people were getting duvet covers and things made with them, I just gave a lot of mine out to charity and just kept really the ones that meant something or that you can wear out casually.
Yeah.
I even got some rid of my Spartan ones. I think now I've got a Reaper one, I've got Tough Mudder, I've got my Nuclear, load of Spartan, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I think load of my 7 tops.
I know my least favourite one now. You've actually reminded me. So every year, Tough Mudder had used, I think, Under Armour as their like title sponsor, and then one of the years that I took part, I think Under Armour had like pulled out it last minute or something like that. Negotiations had broken down for that year, and they ended up with these god awful T-shirts, and they were horrible. People went mental because people have been used to getting really nice tech fabric Under Armour quality T-shirts, and then all of a sudden they had these ones that you wouldn't even dry your dishes with.
Yeah, it kicked off, didn't it, on social media?
And it was just gross because you couldn't even wash them because they just lost the shape straight away. They were that real cheap, like not even Fruit of the Loom, like whatever you can get, the lowest of the low screen printed. It was that, and it were just that's probably my worst. That and Major Series did one. Major Series did a really bad one.
All you see you don't see any Spartan or Tough Mudder T-shirts really. You see Fumud 7 ones, and then mainly you see Wolf Run. Yeah. Wolf Run have always been sort of prized for their T-shirts. People want to do them. They're all fully sublimated. It's different every event.
Well, that's your medal, isn't it? Or was for a very long time from Wolf Run, the T-shirt, and that's. People collect them because they change season. Like you say, they change every season, don't they? So people, I know there's people like Mark Allen, who a sort of active member at Community. He works very closely with them. I think he goes and runs course and whatever.
Yeah, I think he marshals, then runs the next day.
And he likes to collect them, doesn't he? He's got quite a decent...
loads of people do. Like unless you live in the Midlands, you don't realise how big Wolf Run is.
Yeah,
it's the event. It's the big one. It's the nuclear races of the Midlands, really. Yeah,
it is. They've cracked it, haven't they, in terms of numbers and stuff? But they're another one who work really hard with big groups and charities and stuff, don't they, to do an awful lot of good.
Branding.
And what? Sorry.
Good branding.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It's got a strong sort of brand thing to it, hasn't it? So yeah, but.
I can't remember what T-shirt was it? Aztec Warrior. Remember did they do T-shirts?
I don't think it ever happened. I think they just gave mealworms, didn't they?
I know they're at Mud 7. They didn't ever actually make it to their own event.
I don't think they ever did. Oh. I think he must have spent all the money on painting that wall purple, and that were it. Mealworms
and on the potatoes as well. That cost a few quid.
Yeah, the offal and the vegetables, obviously. That were his event.
That staircase that took all over as well.
That's it, innovation at its finest, though. Because if you can't say that someone who looks at a staircase and thinks that would make a cracking obstacle, then they're just not worth the salt in OCR, are they? So
because we've got potatoes up our stairs, you have to dodge them on the way up. I mean, if you did Mud 7 in the very first year, you should let us know in the comments of which was your favourite obstacle in the Aztec Warrior Zone. Was it the planks of doom, where we've got the IBCs with the two planks in between them, which you had to balance perilously across, get one side to the other? There was the purple wall of doom. So the hardest thing about that was trying to keep warm as you queued for about 20 minutes before you could get down to the start of it.
Battling hypothermia. Or it could have been the slaloms that we marked anyway. They could have really enjoyed those.
Or those hurdles that we lent off the Bear Grylls team, which we stuck in his zone as well.
That's it, yeah.
Made Aztec Warrior look good.
It could have been his meat and offal and vegetable, choices.
I mean, what people will be gutted about is they don't know, on that purple wall, there was plans to have thousands of water balloons and people chucking them out on there as well to make it a bit more fun. But that was another idea that...
He got up too late to do it.
Yeah.
Bless his little cotton socks. But anyway...
it's got to make a comeback. We've got to make Aztec Warriors got to have a comeback. And well, not a comeback. It's got to have a start. It's got to have its first event. Like a Bush Tucker trial halfway round.
I don't know if that's the right thing to be wishing for right now, Kevin. I think we need more quality over quantity at the moment, and just
exactly. Quality.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, so Paul, thank you very much for taking the lead.
At last.
And so, even though we had to harangue you constantly to make you send it in, we do really appreciate you sending that in. Thank you very much. So if you've got a listener mail that you want to either email in or send in as a voice message. So voice message wise, you can send it as either an iMessage or as a WhatsApp to 07808 852 033, or just send it simply to carl@obstacleracemagazine.com if you want to email it over, or you can even WeTransfer over a audio file to that address as well. It'd be really cool because it just gives us a good discussion point. I think it's just easier to turn it into more of a conversation and an interest point rather than emails can be a little bit more difficult sometimes, can't they? Because you can't really guess the mood of the person
especially when there's thousands of people listening to every podcast. There's got to be more of you who've got a question for us. Come on, just don't be scared.
It's crackers. And one thing I did think about, this is another male sending in an audio message. It would be nice to have a lady, because in terms of OCR, the majority of racers, when you look at their demographics, the ladies are usually way out in front in terms of sign-ups. So we'd like to see that in terms of listener mail as well, ladies. So anyone who's...
We've always championed the ladies in OCR as well. We had our own magazine team, which was ladies only. And I'm sure some of those are listening now. So again, come on, give us your questions.
We need them to crack on and think something interesting for us to chat about.
Sammy listens every week in the bath.
She's
got to give us a question.
We have to be a little bit careful with Sammy, though, because we have to kind of G up our talking every now and then, because we don't want to fall in asleep in bath, do we, to our mellow tones. Because it's...
dulcet tones.
That's it. That's probably a better way
to describe it. Very sleepy.
That's probably a better way of describing it. But yeah, so I think it's a really positive week in terms of putting together a 10-minute Tuesday this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
and you're another year older, so how old were you, Carl?
21.
How old were you, Carl?
So I can't remember.
What year were you born?
93.
No, you weren't.
I was 37.
Oh, getting ever closer to the big 4-0.
I know. People usually think you're the one who's 37 and I'm the one who's like, whatever you are now, 49 or...
Bleep.
So people usually think it's that way around. I don't know why. I think it's because you've got the easy life.
I've got the baby face.
That's it. You just get, well, yeah. No hair. Resemblance is quite...
Of a baby.
Quite, yeah. Round-headed baby. But yeah, so good. Nice to have some positive news. So don't forget, Mud 7, the 26th of September. It'll be happening. 100% sure, confidence is there that we will be putting that one on, and Boris will not be standing in our way. So make sure you get signed up for that.
It's more than welcome to come along.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Boris.
That's it. Come on. Crack on. His hair would, in fact, his hair would look really good with a taint of mud to it.
Yeah, imagine that going, through that muddy clay pit.
It'd look good when he does his speech.
Especially with all the chemicals in that water.
Is it a Sunday Boris does the speech?
Well, he doesn't do it every Sunday.
But he would look good turning up on a Sunday to do his speech after racing Mud 7. And
with his medal around his neck.
That's it. And nicely tainted hair from the clayey mud. Yeah. It'd look wonderful, wouldn't it? But Boris, so if you're listening, Boris, come along. I'll actually pay for your ticket for you. Come along and you can come along as our guest. So anyway, I think we've waffled on quite enough. We've not even started on IKEA or skateboards or any child. Exactly, no childhood memories. But yeah, so.
Well, I was thinking about if we could have a special episode of just you talking about your skateboard memories, maybe. So we'd have the weekly 10-minute Tuesday. You could do like an hour Friday.
It would work really well though, because
Adrian last week who sent his message and he loved it.
Those mood apps, people pay quite a lot of money to subscribe to those to put them to sleep at night time. So if I did one all by myself, we could probably do it as a subscriber special, where people have to pay. In the background,
you'd have like the wheels. Have the wheels going down the pavement. You could just have that sort of noise just in the background as a.
What's that called? AMSR, and I could make like little tapping noises and talk really nicely like that, and ask people if they're feeling tired. and
Sammy's just dropped off now.
I'm sure people would absolutely love that. But so make sure if you would like that, make sure you send an email to kevin@obstacleracemagazine.com with your wishes for that to happen. Don't send them to me because it's obviously never going to happen.
Tony Hawk II.
I can't stand up on a skateboard, Kevin. I can only sit down. That's why it was tobogganing rather than standing up. I can't stand up for life for me. But anyway, so is that everything, Kev?
I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wet week. It looks like whether we're looking at the weather.
We had a bit of thunder and lightning last night. Weather report, news flash. We had thunder and lightning last night. Boys were loving it. First time that they can remember in a while.
We had some really good strikes. We got tomorrow thunder, Wednesday thunder, Thursday rain, Friday rain.
You can't say it like that. So this is going out tomorrow though, Kev. So you need to do Wednesday.
Tuesday thunder, Wednesday thunder, Thursday, Friday rain, Saturday, Sunday dry, Monday rain. But it's been quite muggy because it's not getting below sort of 11, 12 degrees. It was quite muggy last night as well.
I'm sure people listening to this exact episode in 6 months' time will be really grateful for that weather report, Kevin.
Well, we've done news, we've done the weather, and we've done the sport. So that's pretty much the whole roundup, isn't it?
It's true, yeah. It's a all-in-one package. They don't need to go anywhere else. Just listen to this podcast.
Cancel your Sky subscriptions.
That's it.
Don't bother with your TV licence.
They sorted with this.
Yeah.
So, anyway, right, we better go, didn't we? Thanks a lot, Kev.
Sweet dreams.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye. Right, Kev, for those who have hung on, we're actually going to do a little competition, but people don't know. Unless they've listened past the end bit, they'll not know anything about it. So, on the news section of the magazine, website, we're going to put a news story on there, and no one will be notified unless they're listening to this podcast. And it's going to have a link to a jigsaw, and what we need to know is what that jigsaw creates.
What's
and the
a
first one,
jigsaw?
it's going to be a jigsaw, an online jigsaw.
What is a jigsaw?
A jigsaw.
Yeah.
Jigsaw.
Oh, jigsaw.
Oh, you're an idiot.
What
But
is
anyway,
a jigsaw?
so there's going
You
to be
spoilt this extra bit now.
there's going to be a link to a jigsaw, and you need to go on, put it all together virtually, and let us know by emailing call@obstacleracemagazine.com what that created, what that jigsaw brought together. But anyway, so if you listen to this bit, you're either really lucky or really sad that you've listened all
Super
the way
fan.
to this bit.
Super
yeah,
fan.
Exactly. But anyway, we're going now
Or
for
you
real.
fell asleep and it's just played on to the end and you've not actually listened to this.
No, and you've got one more listen for us in terms
you.
of the charts and stuff. So thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Sweet dreams. Cheers, Kev. Bye.
Bye-bye.